Hi friend, David here from Learn Stage Lighting. And in this video, let's talk about your console, your control for DJ lighting. Now, if you're like me, when you think about a lighting console and for DJ lighting, you pick up something like this. This is the Chauvet Obey 40. Of course, there's, other models on the market, ADJ, Eliminator, even Monoprice, and all these other places. They all make versions of this same thing. And my number one tip is don't buy a console that looks like that for DJ lighting, okay? Why? Well, it used to be that these little things were kind of the best thing you could get on a budget for creating lighting. But today, the possibilities are so much better. There are so many better options, many of them on the computer, which you're already probably using to play back your music in a DJ software. And so that's what we're going to go into in this video. I've got a handful of consoles, and what we're just going to do, real simply, is hop into that computer, show you some of the differences between these consoles, show you what's good about them, and help you to understand, okay, how could this work for a DJ lighting setup for me? So that you can see what the best one for you is. Because ultimately, whether you're running the show yourself or you're having someone run it for you or you're automating it, there are going to be different right answers for each different person. And your specific needs as a DJ, or if you're lighting EDM, or if you're someone who is lighting DJs. All of these different people are going to have different needs. So I can't with a blanket statement say, hey, this is the console for DJ lighting. I can't say that because it's simply not true. But let's dive in here. And I want to show you a few different consoles and how they can work for you with DJ lighting. And real quick, before we dive in there, if you haven't already, grab my free guide. It's called 4 Things That You Need to Know Before You Buy Any DJ Lights. You can grab it over at learnstagelighting.com. I've got a link right here. Let's dive into those consoles. Really, the first thing you want to look at when you're choosing a console for DJ lighting, and you'll notice I have my friend Entex DMX's up here, is, okay, do I want a console that is going to be triggered, that I'm going to press buttons on and trigger to run a show, or do I want something that's going to be kind of automated? Now, this is really going to depend on the type of DJ lighting you're doing. If you're running lights for someone, or you've got someone to run lights, or you have an extra hand and you just want to be able to run simple things on the fly, then I would go ahead and, a basic entry level is something like Entex DMX's here. All you do with it, real dead simple. I like to set up a bunch of scenes with my lights. Again, I've got a lot of other training on DMX's, so we're not going to make this a tutorial. It's not a how-to, but what we can do basically is make a ton of scenes for lights. These could be MIDI mapped to a controller, such as the Korg Nano Control Studio, I believe it is a good one that works well with DMX's. With MIDI controllers and DMX's, you really want a controller that you can customize the notes on, and the Korg stuff you generally can't. And so I set up a bunch of different scenes that I can just fire to get different looks. But then I can go in, set up a sound active mode on certain colors or chases or movements. And all of these things could be controlled just by pressing a button on a MIDI controller, as I mentioned, or just clicking here on the screen. And so that's actually really important to know. One of the cool things about DMX's is you can go ahead, you could put the tempo for the whole song or for anything you're doing, and you can take that tempo and put it on a MIDI control as well. And so that allows you to ease up, slow down the tempo. Basically, when you're building something, if you're basically not building, if you're not building something to run automatically, the huge benefit of it, whether we use DMX's or Light Shark or D-Pro or Onyx even, all of these controllers are really good for DJ lighting. And I'm not going to go into all of them here, but I do have a video about how to choose your first lighting console, and we'll link to that here. Because all of these consoles, they're all great, and they all have different levels, different amounts of lights that they kind of excel at controlling. And the huge benefit to using something like this is that I've literally got my lights in here, and I've laid out a whole ton of scenes, what we might call in the live music world like a punt page. And I can fire things without any knowledge of the music that's coming,
without any, when somebody requests, the day of the client requests, oh, we've got to have this new cool song that all the kids are listening to. I don't know what that would be. Um, w- at a moment's notice of request, as long as you have the file of that song, you can play it, and then you can bring in some simple lighting to go with it and just play it on MIDI controller, whatever. Now, there's pros and cons to this. The big pro, of course, is that you don't have to have anything prepared in a lighting software or anything like that. You just launch this up, launch your DJ software, you play things. Now, the cons of using a lighting console, again, whether it be DMX's, I could set up a page on the Light Shark the same way. I could set this up in a lot of different consoles, Onyx as well. But the real con to this is that if you're going to do more complex things, it's going to require a lot more attention, which probably means you would need to have someone run this, somebody second. So that would only be for someone who's got a larger DJ setup or who's doing EDM type events where, okay, you've got someone who's there. Maybe they've helped you set up. Now they could run the lights and you're good to go. But if you're kind of that mobile DJ, single person, not that single, not in the sense of relationship status, but single in the sense of, okay, you are running the show by yourself. You show up, you set up the speakers, you set up your DJ stuff, you do the show, you tear it down yourself, you leave. That's the bread and butter. There's a lot of you out there that do that. And for you guys, this can work and you can get some good stuff done. And in fact, I have a course called Amplify Those Beats in Learn Stage Lighting Labs, which you can learn about here, that goes over, okay, how do we set up a traditional console like one of these? Especially DMX's is great because you can have sound active type modes, you can have chases, everything follows the beat, but you've got to trigger it. So if you're kind of that solo person, shout out to my friend Chris Lloyd, who turned me on to SoundSwitch, then you might want to look at something like SoundSwitch. Let's take a look. And so SoundSwitch, and I'm going to do a full review later this week on SoundSwitch, but the cool thing about SoundSwitch is if we pop into edit mode here, we can go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and load their walkthrough file because it has a song, it's got some lights in it, and I've brought in my lights and done some things with them. These are just some lights I have here in my studio. And so SoundSwitch, anyways, let's go through the bore and give you the real info that you want. The cool thing about SoundSwitch is that it kind of follows a hybrid approach, okay? So as we talked about, we can go in here, we can go to the MIDI tab, for example, and I can go in here, and I've done this already, and I've got an Akai APC40, very simple, very basic MIDI controller, and I can set up these automatic looks and these static looks to my MIDI controller. And so when I press these looks, hey, it's going to fire them automatically, okay? Good stuff. But at the same time, if you're using a type of DJ software, whether that be Ableton, Serato, Virtual DJ, I don't know all of them because I'm really not that deep into the DJ world. But if you're using one of those pieces of DJ software, then you can integrate it here so that your music comes up automatically. Now, there's a couple really big advantages to that. The first is that if you've got a song that you use a lot and you want to build a quick lighting show to go with it, all the tools are here to do that. But if you want it to just kind of go automatic on kind of an intelligent sound active mode, then this software SoundSwitch can really do that as well. And I'll have links to all the software below, of course, my guides, whatever I've got. And like I said, I've got a review of this coming later this week, but it really is as simple as just having a timeline in here, dragging things in, or just letting it go automatic. My friend Chris gave me a demo a while ago where he showed me, hey, bring in a song, automatically create some loops through it. You can modify things a little if you want. And then that light show is tied to that song. Not only that, but they give you these different venues, basically, where you can have different lighting rigs or different sets of lighting rigs and completely different shows, all saved to the music file. So I think it's pretty cool. And I think it's worth a mention here because, think about it. If you're a DJ, okay, you may be in the place in your market and everything where it makes sense to have a lighting controller like DMX's, like we just had up, or Light Shark or Onyx, where you can set up some buttons, you roll into a show, you fire that up, you press those buttons. And that might be the best thing for you. Sometimes you might have somebody run lights for you. You can have them press the buttons as well as do more complex things. But if you're a one-man operation all the time or one woman, and I don't want to, even though the majority of DJs are probably men. There are great women DJs out there. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but the point is that if you're a one-person show most of the time, then I would take a good look at something like SoundSwitch. There's other programs out there, but I think SoundSwitch is the one that's most tailored to mobile DJs. And if you're in that space, not doing EDM, not running lights for people, then I would look at something like SoundSwitch. I think it'll really work well for you. Either way, use videos like this to make your own decisions. I'm not SoundSwitch, did send me this software to try out and to review, but I'm not being compensated in any other way by them, by DMXs, by anything like that. I just want you to, use a video like this to make good decisions. And, while you're here on Learn Stage Lighting, make sure to grab my free guide. 4 things you need to know before you buy any DJ light. I'm going to help you save money, save frustration, and get what you actually need. Until then, make sure you subscribe here, and I will see you in the next video here on Learn Stage Lighting. Thanks.